Guys, welcome to the live stream. Let me know in the chat if you can hear the audio and if you can see our new baby chicks on our chicks cam. Welcome to the stream, guys. You're watching the baby chicks cam. One of the things you guys might not know is that we are sort of a kind of a homestead here, as well as a YouTube channel. And I think one of my favorite places to be is definitely in the backyard. And recently I convinced Mrs. Camps to let me get 4 new chicks. So I'm pretty happy about that. We were gonna get 3, but you know, sometimes chicks don't make it, but these 4 seem to be doing pretty good. So we do have a leghorn, an Orpington, we have a cinnamon queen, and the other one, which one was the other one? Got the name of the other one. It'll come to me. Hope you guys are doing good today. We're going to look at the FPV industry right now and where we're at on the prices and what's happening currently to the U.S. marketplace. It seems like some things are out of order since all the tariffs came through, and we're still not back to normal yet. So we're going to take a look at that today, and we're going to talk about some other things that are coming up on the channel. Let us know where you're tuning in from today. Let us know if you guys also have some type of homestead operation. If you guys do any type of gardening or you have chickens, love to hear from you. All right, cool. Computer Tinkerer says, yes, can hear and see the chicks. Awesome. We're still coming up with names for these girls, so if you guys have any ideas, let us know in the chat. If you have any chick names, we're gonna call one of them Butters from South Park because she has kind of a yellowish color to her feathers. Gonna get started in just a minute when more people fill into the room. Welcome to the live stream, you guys. All right, guys, welcome to the live stream today. Today is May 15th. It's Thursday, and we're here to talk about FPV today and kind of like the state of things right now. It's a little bit crazy out there. Prices are all over the place, and you know, we've had some updates over the past couple months with all the tariffs, and it's just been completely nuts. And what I'm seeing so far is I don't see a lot of changes from the US retailer side of things. And it's making it really hard for you guys to be able to buy something right now because of that. So if you bought something for $750 today, it could be $450 tomorrow. Who knows what the prices are going to be. So yeah, we're going to take a look at that today. So let's go ahead and let's check in on some of the prices that we're seeing. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my main camera now, and that was our baby chicks. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the live stream. It's been a minute since we did a live stream, so I thought I would hop on here today because I'm kind of in between videos right now, and I figured that I would just sort of get you up to speed with where we're at on the retail side of the U.S. market. It seems like right now we had a fallback. We had recently Trump tariffs come down to 30% with China, and I don't see a lot of price change on a lot of the major retail websites right now. You should be able to get an 04 quad for, you know, around $600. And if we look at getfpv.com right now, let's just use the brand new iFlight Cineflow 5-inch with 04 for an example. This one is an 04 Pro DJI PNP 792 with ELRS is $813 for a 5-inch. That's a lot of money. So let's compare that same receiver, same quad on another website. The other popular US retailer is Race Day Quads, and we pulled up Race Day Quads today, and it's $751.49 with an ELRS receiver on board, the 04 Pro. That's about a $60 price difference right there between two US retailers. And this is the thing, you know, I'm trying to figure out why there's such a difference in price. You know, maybe it's because maybe it's because they somehow got it at a different price point during the tariff, as this is a new drone. But I'm not just seeing this on the new releases. I'm seeing it on the Nazgul Eco, and we price compared that one last week, and that's still similarly different. We're seeing different price points on all the different retailers, so that's kind of concerning there. So let's hop back over to Pyro Drone, and let's check out Pyro Drone's price. So we're going to go to Get FPV first. We're going to check them out. Get FPV, $813, okay? RDQ is coming in at $751, and Pyro Drone is at $835.99, and that's with the ELRS receiver. So that's the same quad on three different retailers: $813, $751, $835. So Get FPV, somewhere in the middle. RDQ is the cheapest. Pyro Drone, not quite the cheapest. But those are the prices on the Cineflow 5 right now, and I'm trying to figure out why they are so different. And this is happening on not just this particular quad, it's happening on all the different FPV components. And I don't see how retailers could have paid different prices, different wholesale prices. Maybe they bought larger lots, maybe they bought less to get less of a deal. That is a possibility. But it's definitely quite a drastic difference, a $60 difference there with those prices. How are you guys doing? Let me know where you're tuning in from today. Give us a like and a thumbs up on this video, because, you know, YouTube hates the FPV people. They hate these. It's like firearms. Ever since the Ukraine, they're trying to push our videos down in the algorithm. It's controversial to like FPV now, where it didn't used to be. And I find myself more and more when I go out to fly, you know, things are different right now. So when I go out to fly, I choose my locations carefully. I also don't try to, I try to look like what I call uh, an FPV tourist. Like, if I'm gonna fly FPV and I'm gonna put these goggles on my face, I want to make sure that I'm flying something that doesn't look anything like, something nefarious. When I went to Italy a couple years ago, or actually last year, I took a small little FPV drone, little foldable 4K drone, and I called that the tourist drone. And that's what I took over to Italy because I didn't want to mess around with the Italian military seeing me like flying FPV in some place I'm not supposed to be flying unknowingly, because you do your due diligence when you go on vacation to try to make sure that you're like flying legally to their terms. And sometimes, as a tourist, you go into a new country, you may accidentally break some of those rules. Not purposefully breaking those rules, but it does happen. Welcome to the stream, Bazzy Taylor. Dennis Smith, welcome to the stream. From Florida. You have chickens and August beef? Is that how you said that? And pheasants. Oh my God, you have pheasants. I'm jealous. So one of the guys that I watched, he's kind of a homesteader, prepper kind of guy. He has, oh man, quail. Yeah, he has quail. I'm a little jealous about that. I'd like to have some quail. So we have these 4 chicks right now. We just got them. I guess this is their 3rd day home. And I'm trying to remember the breed of the other one that we got. But we have an Orpington, a Leghorn, and a Cinnamon Queen. There was one more. Oh, it was an Easter egger. So the last one was an Easter egger. And they keep coming up to the camera and they hop up on top of the tripod. There's a little tripod squat down low inside our little chicken palace here. And my kids are loving it. Right now they're building little houses for them out of cardboard and sticking it in there, and they put some Barbie like playground stuff in there. We had to take some of that stuff out because it's like we're afraid it's gonna tip over. But right now we have like pellet bedding down there. I don't know what you guys use. If you use something different, if you use just straw or hay. I feel like this might be a little more sterile than using just what the big girls use outside. I usually use straw because out in Oregon it's so moist all the time that we're fighting the moisture, and straw doesn't harbor as much moisture as hay does. Apparently that's what they tell me at Wilco. Any of you guys know anything about that homesteading stuff, just let me know. I'm open for tips. Computer Tinkerer says kamikaze drone factories are crazy in the Ukraine. Their manufacturing output is insane. So they're outputting about 15,000 drones per week in the Ukraine. That's pretty good. And recently I saw a talk from the US where some folks are saying, oh, that's a lot. But I think we could do 10 times that here in the US if we wanted to. 15,000. We could do tenfold on that with the size factories we have. But we need the equipment, right? Got to get the equipment to get those made in the USA drones happening, which I absolutely 155 million% think we should. But that's crazy. If you're just joining us now, we were looking at the current prices on like stateside retail websites. Get FPVs, Cineflow 5. Let's let you look at this again. Look at the price differences here. It's $813 with an ELRS receiver. Okay, Race Day Quad $751, Pyrodrone $835. So all 3 of these major retailer websites are displaying different prices with the same receiver, and I'm trying to figure that out. Maybe it's because they bought in different amounts from the manufacturer, and you get a different price break with that. So maybe they have to charge a little more, a little less. But I wish there was some real consistency in the pricing in our hobby, because it's just all over the place. And stock has been really low over the past month, and I feel like we're at a point right now, like, even though we went down to 30% tariff, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention or not to the different reviewers and the content that people are producing, but go look around some of the major content producers on YouTube, and you'll notice kind of like one very interesting thing. What is that? It's that most of them are falling back on doing like tutorials and how-to videos. You know, Bardwell did one a while back, the complete guide to ELRS. It's like an hour long. If you want to learn about ELRS, go watch that video. But there's not a lot of reviews. There's a lot of tutorials, but there's not a lot of reviews. So the releases in the past 2 months have gone from like just a lot a decent amount last year. We had less last year than the year before, and less last year from the year prior to that. And it's been getting lower and lower all the time with the releases. Other companies are splitting off into two, and they're different. Some of these Chinese companies are going different directions. They're splitting off into two different smaller companies. They're consolidating. They're also reeling back the amount of releases that they've been doing. So one of the manufacturers that I see still kind of giving us new releases consistently has to be Beta FPV, right? Like, the amount of releases from Beta FPV, and this has been the thing about Beta FPV. They have been consistently doing small drones. So in this political and economic environment, that was a smart choice by the guys at Beta FPV. This is the Femto, by the way. That was a smart choice to do smaller, sub 250 grams type drones. That really helped them out in the long run, because if you're known for doing gigantic, 7 and 10 inch, and even there's a 15 inch on the wall behind me, you can't buy this one anymore, by the way. That one went up for sale, and they sent it to me for a review, and then the link disappeared. So we'll fly this one for you guys sometime, but I can't review it because it doesn't exist. But it makes a nice wall ornament. Matt Ice says, Justin, let's start a factory in the USA. If you guys can come up, to get a factory started in the USA, we would probably, I think we could do it for about $6 million. All the machines that we would need PCB machines. We'd also need engineers. We would need a staff of about 10 to 12 people to begin. And then after that, growing up to about probably 30 people. But yeah, I know what the equipment costs, and that's about what it costs. I mean, you might be able to do it for about $4 million, but then you're going to be starting in a really small space. And that's including like the warehouse space needed. You need a pretty good size warehouse. You need good electrical. You also don't need it you need it climate controlled. It has to be very clean. It can't be just an dirty old dirt warehouse, because we can't have that on the flight controllers when we're producing flight controllers. So it has to be a pretty sterile environment for it. We were going to do a factory in the US. And we had to find the right people. But that would be pretty epic if we had a factory here. I'm just looking through the chat. What's up, Ronnie Jr. from Arizona? Puerto Rico computer tinker. John Gibson's at work and he can't turn on the sound. He says that the craziest part of that Horizon seems to be dumping their helicopter parts in preparation of business change. The carbon fiber plate of helicopter is $5. Wow, they are really dropping their prices. So right now, I don't know if Joe Nall is over, but some of you guys that are in the FPV industry, you might not know about Joe Nall, but Joe Nall is like the biggest, baddest, most awesome RC week. It's an entire week in South Carolina, Woodruff, South Carolina. Go Google this. Joe Nall RC fly-in. We call them fly-ins when we get together and fly airplanes. So it started off with airplanes. It went to helis. And now it's multi-rotor. There's 3D airplanes. There's a helicopter field. There used to be 7 different flight fields, including a lake for float flying. I mean, it's awesome. You take your camper there and you come in. I think it's on like the first weekend, everybody comes in and sets up. A lot of the RC manufacturers come in, Horizon Hobby, High Tech, all those guys come in, all the RC airplane companies and heli companies. I've seen Spectrum there. I met the Spectrum developer down on the heli flight line one year when Drone Camps was next to Flight Test on the electric flight line. We had a tent there for Drone Camps back a long time ago, 2014. That was a lot of fun. And we had Peter, what's his last name? Peter. It's a weird last name, Spicoli, I want to say. But he used to be with Flight Test, and he left and went off and he does his own channel now, which is pretty awesome. That year, I believe he had a flying microwave popping popcorn. So, yeah, you can imagine some of Peter's videos are pretty crazy. He's done everything from like, I think he's made like a rocket or something. He's crazy. He's a mad scientist. Welcome to the live stream, LA. Yeah, I might have to translate that, brother. Cami Drones, Emax goggles were pants. Didn't care for that kit alone. I don't know. Maybe you have a typo in there. Pants. Computer Tinker says, I want to get an RTF mini drone kit for sure. Decisions between the Emax and the Beta FPV. Saw the sub 250 kit review from you and looking good too. Yeah, so this is the thing. We did the sub 250 Nimble 6.5 ready to fly review 3 months ago. Okay, now this is how some of these FPV companies operate. It's crazy. That video was done months and months ago, and I had forgot how good that thing flew. Right when I went back and reviewed the video, I was like, oh wow. And this was before all the tariff craziness and everything, but they sent me that box and they said wait, and they've done that to me several times earlier this year. Sub 250 just will send you something, and then they just won't give you a release date, and then all of a sudden one day you look on the internet and everyone, including the chicks, have released a review for that item, and you're like, what the hell? You didn't even email me and tell me that you were gonna release it. No release date, no. I had everything ready. So I looked on their website 2 days ago and I realized, well, holy shit, like it's on the website, and they never email me, hey, we're gonna drop it. Go ahead and release the video. Nope, no warning. Just there it is. But Sub 250, another company that's been giving us releases. They have been consistently coming out with some releases. Let us know when you're where you're tuning in from. If you didn't, smash the like button for us. Appreciate that. So let's check out some other types of items. Like, let me know in the chat what an item is that you would typically shop for. What's one of the popular items out there that you think people are buying? Let's do a price check from the the chat. If you guys want to drop in an item that you think we should check on the price from the retailers, I'll go and do a search on all 3 different websites real quick, and then we'll pull those up. I think maybe one of them would be the Femto. Maybe the iFlight Defender 20 would be a popular one. Let's see if Get FPV has a Defender 20 Lite. They should, because they do have the Cineflow. Nope, they don't have that one, unless it's named something else. Oh my God, $600. What? Wow, that's the older version. Jesus. Okay. All right, guys, check this out. Defender 20. That one is from last year? Early last year? That's the one with the 03 on board, so it's quite bulkier than our new version, the light version, and obviously this one is with the DJI Lite, not the 03. So this one's way more compact. They released a little promo for this one a while back. It was funny because they only showed like the front end of it, and I'm like, holy crap, that. And they showed the prop guards. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Defender Lite. So I blew up their spot. I know exactly what it was just by that profile. But yeah, that's the price. The Defender, that's the older version with an 03 for $613. That's insane. Let's see if the other retailers have that same exact quad. And let's price shop. Let's compare again. So, okay. We have yeah. And this one's PMP, so it actually should be cheaper for the PMP version versus Get FPV's. Let's see. All right, their PMP version is $613. Okay. So, iFlight Defender 20 PMP, $613. The ELRS version, $634. Now, over on RDQ, $647. And that's PMP, meaning you would have to bind up the receiver to your DJI controller 2 or 3. I believe the 03 works on the 2. I'm not sure if it works on the 3. Now let's go over to Pyro Drone, and let's do a little search on Pyro Drone's website for that. And sometimes he won't have it, but in this case, oh, he has the light. So sometimes these retailers, he'll have stuff and the other guys won't, and vice versa. So he has the Defender 20 Lite for $300. It's sold out. So I think this is well, that's still more expensive than iFlight's price, because iFlight's price for this from China would be like $225 or so. So about a $75 difference there. And the 03, oh my God, the Defender 25. So this is not, well, there we go, 25, 647, 613. So let's put it with ELRS, 634, Get FPV, 647, PMP, that's without receiver there. And PNP here is 660, 708 with the ELRS receiver on Pyro Drone for the Defender 25, 2024 or 2023 quad here. So we're looking at, 634, 647, 708. So Pyro seems to be the most expensive in that equation. So not a huge difference between Get FPV and RDQ, but Pyro's price is way different there. Came Drone said he just got the Oasis 30 yesterday. Amazing out of the box. Had a great afternoon flying. That's awesome, man. Heck yeah. The Oasis fly, it's really a fun quad. With the 04 on there, you can't go wrong with that. You know, is the 2.5 inch and 3 inch the new 5 this year in 2025? I mean, I would love to have a real time, or I would love to have some data on how many 5 inch are selling versus like sub 250 gram drones. Because I have a feeling that the sub 250 category is more prevalent right now than the 5 inch category. Possibly. I feel like a lot of people are buying a lot smaller now. Unless you're just going to buy a 7 and just go for it. Cindy. We still have our 7s on the wall back there. We have the Maz 7 up there. And the Sena LR7 from iFlight on my right. I do have a really hardcore comparison of those two coming up. If you guys are interested to see the differences there on those two drones. Let's check out the chicks, Cam. Let's see how the baby chicks are doing. So recently we just got some plants from Wilco. We got some green peppers, red peppers. We're gonna do some different lettuces, and we're gonna do some kale, as always. And we have these mini watermelons. I forgot what they're called, but I want to try to maybe plant some of those as well. So not just drones on the channel, but also a little bit of homesteading sometimes. I don't know if any of you guys out there do any type of homesteading. Let us know where you're tuning in from in the chat if you just joined the live stream. Smash the like button if you're just cruising in here. So tell me, let me tell you something real quick. I was gonna ask you a question, but I'm gonna tell you something first, and then I'll ask you the question. Okay. So new releases. We mentioned before on the live stream that you're not seeing a lot of channels with a lot of new products and new things to review. So a lot of these content providers are coming out with a lot of kind of trying to come up with some content that they can create outside of having something to review. Tutorials, how-tos, things like that. It's a struggle for a lot of people right now trying to provide you with FPV drone content, especially new stuff. So my question to you is, do you think there are a lot of new releases coming up this summer with the way things are going? Prices are all over the place, up and down. You know, if you pay $700 for a 5 inch this week, next week it could be $600. If you pay $700 this week, next week it could be $850. Who knows? But I'm hoping with that 90-day hold that maybe things are going to be at least at 30% for, up until around mid-August. But here's the thing. There are new releases coming. Okay? I have a new one right over there that may drop tomorrow. I also have another one coming in the mail from one of the major manufacturers. So there is another awesome bind and fly coming. I can't tell you which one it is, but I'm very excited about it. And it is a sub 250 drone. I can tell you that. So it is a sub 250 drone. and it may be DJI, but they're all DJI these days. Cami Drone says they're being creative, thinking outside the box. Who's being creative? What's up, Leo Fulmore from South Carolina? What's up, bro? So we're hanging out, talking drone talk, checking out the baby chicks today. They've grown quite a bit in the last 2 days. Kind of crazy. They right now they have these little tail feathers sticking out. That's what I noticed this morning when I got up and checked on them. Every morning when I get up, I have to go look in the box just to make sure everybody's freaking alive. Because if you've ever raised baby chicks before, you know the mortality rate is not very good. And I hate that my kids, you know, they want to name them, they want to claim them. We have 4 kids that we're raising, 2 boys, 2 girls. The oldest one is 11. And we have a sports schedule roster that's completely insane. Most weekends we're at a soccer, football, or a baseball game, or cheerleading, or gymnastics. And sometimes we can't be all the places at once. And then you throw in things like there's a choir performance or a dance thing or something. It's like, yeah, life of the modern family. It can be crazy. I'm essentially a taxi driver for all the children, no matter what, day, night, morning. We've had soccer games at 7 a.m. Why would you have 7-year-olds playing soccer at 7 a.m.? You should see the parents at 7 a.m. showing up for a soccer game. Oh yeah, let me turn off my audio with the
Uh-oh. We just had one hop up on top of we had one hop up on top of the tripod. That might even knock. It's my phone is sitting in there as the baby chicks cam.
All right. Let's see, here we go. I'm gonna turn off the chicks cam mic. Hopefully that helped out a little bit. Just wanted you to be able to hear their little peeps. It's kind of cute. But yeah, they're doing this thing where they're hopping up on top of, they're standing on top of my phone. Aren't they cute? Why the drone channel has baby chicks on there? I mean, I feel like we could have a baby chicks cam on all the time, because remember the thing with the eagles? The baby eagles? Man, they're really starting to flap their wings. The largest one there that you see right in front of the camera just walked away. She's the cinnamon queen. Look at that, right in front of the camera. Uh-oh. I think she just flew up on top of the water bottle. The water bottle's to the right. The feeder's in front of you guys. That's awesome. So yeah, Zorvin, I turned off that chicks cam mic. There was a mic in there on the phone just to be able to hear the peeps, but we turned that off. So there are new releases coming, which is great. But I mean, shit's crazy out there. Like it's a really tough time for someone to come into the hobby. Right now, you don't know what to expect. And the thing is, it's like people that are just getting into it, you guys don't know what the prices are. So if you see something that's priced 5-inch at $800, you know, compared to buying a Mavic, that seems cheap, right? That seems cheap, but the typical price on that 5-inch with DJI standard price is from $400 to $500. And right now we're way above that. I do have this beautiful Mark V at some point. Will probably go in the store. Not anytime soon, so don't even ask for it just yet. I still have to have my fun with this one. And I have to go into this in a little more detail for you as well. But God, this is a beautiful drone. We need to be able to make something like this in the USA. The USA hobby market needs stimulus. Keep saying that. I'm just going to start standing on the corner with a sign. US hobby market need FPV hobby needs stimulus. I need to go to DC and just stand outside the White House with a sign. Just no one gives a damn. No one cares. It's true. Jacob Williamson, you've been a part of the hobby for 4 months. Welcome to the hobby, man. It is a lot of fun. So, if you're brand new to the hobby, check out our website, dronecamps.com. To give them a little self promotion here, but this is our store. If you scroll down about halfway, no weight, no tariffs, no customs. You're supporting an FPV family business. It's free shipping still. And if you refresh this page every once in a while, like a couple times a week, you'll see new drones, radios, and all kinds of stuff popping up here. And you can pay through PayPal. So if you wanted like the Hummingbird V4 right here, click on that. It'll take you to this screen, $120, bam. Shipped to your door. And you have to know this about the store. Everything in that store is something that I have flown and I have tested to make sure it works. If it does not work, and sometimes I'll put like a crash deal or something on there, and I'll let you know in the description. So like if you click on the Hummingbird V4, for example, you scroll down, and I should have the condition in here. Okay, I did. Thank God I did that. So condition flown, tested, working order, mint condition. So about what you see there for the picture of it is what you're going to get when you get it in the box. So it's flown a handful of times, and that's a cool one. So if you click on these little things down here, this will take you to different pictures, some of the specs. I always try to put the full specs for everything on the description. And yeah, it's free shipping in the US. That's pretty good. And I don't know if you guys saw, some of you guys might not have seen this, but we did get new merch with the new logo on there. So we have some trucker hats. I really like this hat right here. I did order myself this hat. Just got really nice truckers, actually. The quality on these, I'm wearing mine right now, and they're all embroidered. They're not printed. They're actually embroidered. And it's some of the nicest merch that I've probably had on this channel. I had a friend of mine ask me if I would do like a green one. So this is the green. And they're kind of a mid-sized trucker. They're not like the really steep, huge front end truckers. Those are usually too big for my head. So I usually go with the medium trucker. This is a good old boys and drones hat. A little bit of camo action for you. And we also have a camo version with the Drone Camps logo hit. And I was doing these side hits. I really like the side hit hats, not the full logo on the front. I like the little side hit. But that's the camo hat with the sort of the brown back. It's kind of cool. So we got some cool, like more like 2025 styles on there. But you can grab a hat or a t-shirt if you want to support the channel. We got the Army Green t-shirt. It's got good old boys and drones on the back. And then we have the sort of Black Ops black right there with nothing on the back right there, but just Drone Camps. And yeah, get yourself a t-shirt or a hat that supports the channel. Let's check on the chicks. How are they doing? yeah, I'm glad you like the videos, Jacob. I appreciate that. Appreciate you hanging out. We're trying to, I'm trying to expand sort of our content in a way to a little bit more of what we're doing here at the Homestead. Because I feel like my other interests, like, and they always say, like, make videos about, like, what you love, right? And for me, like, I really love, like, being in the backyard. It's probably my favorite place. Like, you've seen the videos where I've done, like, micro drone reviews in the backyard, and that's my favorite place to be, is in the backyard with those chicks and the chickens. And what I do is, like, that's the most peaceful place to be. If you'd never had chickens before, it's a weird thing to walk into the run. You got to have your chicken shoes on, so you don't get chicken shit all over your shoes. But it's a different place. Like, time slows down when you go into, like, the chicken coop area, unless you have like 35 chickens. Then it's chaos. And roosters. We don't have any roosters, so we don't have anything to watch out for. But it's a peaceful place. It's like my place where, like, the world just slows down. Like, one of the most innocent creatures out there is just a chicken. Unless you're a bug. Unless you're a worm. But we love them. So now we have 3 girls outside currently, and we lost 2 last year. One got drug over our fence by a raccoon or something. We have huge raccoons out here in Oregon, like probably a 40-pound raccoon drug one of our girls over the fence and just mauled her. And that happened in the middle of the night. It's weird because we have an electronic door that I reviewed a while back, like 2 years ago, and that thing is still working. Maybe even like 3 years ago, it was off Banggood. I just saw it on Banggood, and I was like, oh man, would you guys send me that electronic chicken door? I'd love to review that. We got some good views on that. I show you how to set it up. It's pretty cool. It's got a little timer. You can customize the crap out of it. Zoran FPV just cooked himself some eggs. Farm fresh eggs. Hell yeah. That's what's up. So right now I'm only getting like 1 egg a day. And with a family of 6, like, that's not good. And the other 3 girls out there, 2 of them are about probably 3 or 4 years old. So they're getting older. And then the other one, we named her Miley. One of the kids wanted to name her after Miley Cyrus, and she's the biggest one, but I don't think she lays but like every other day, maybe. For some reason, I think she got traumatized when the other chick, which was one of her friends, got drug over the fence. And the chickens get traumatized. Like, if one of them gets killed, they won't lay for a couple days, 2 or 3 days, sometimes a week, depending on what happens. We had one get hawked last year. I was in the kitchen, and I heard some chicken screams coming from the backyard. And, if you hear chicken screams and you have chickens, you should go outside immediately. And I didn't go outside right away. And then when I did go outside, I looked to my right, and an osprey, I think it was an osprey, it was only about this big, standing right in front of my kitchen window. They were free ranging because I was just, on the other side of the wall. Like, I wasn't far away. I had the back door open, and within like a couple minutes, man, he ripped her open, and she was dead by the time I walked out there. And it turned and looked at me when I came out the back door, and I was like, son of a, and I ran at it. And I don't know what I'm going to do to an osprey. If an osprey turns on me and decided to hit me with those talons, I'd wring its neck. I'm not allowed to say that in public, though. I wouldn't wring its neck. Now I'm going to have PETA coming after me. Justin Davis said he would wring an osprey's neck. See, look at that. We just lost one viewer. Zoran says, I need a printer. I got a printer. Hell yeah, I got a printer. I got a Bamboo Labs Carbon. I did a good review for the Carbon. Kind of screwed up the edit a little bit, but that's how you know I'm not AI, right? If I screw up the edits, and I screw them up every once in a while. It's just I don't have. Sometimes I don't have enough time to really put a lot of time into an edit, but I want to do more. So I was about to do this thing where, and just talking about the Homestead honestly is like taking back what I was calling taking back the camera, right? Um, so I graduated from art school with a BFA in video and graphic design, and like so like my first love is like art, like and video editing and film and cinema, and that's why I'm totally into like sound, and that's why I try to make sure my sound's always good in my videos for the first part of anything, because if your sound is screwed, then no one wants to watch the video. And then the filming aspect. So I want to put more time and effort into taking the camera back from just like reviewing a product. That's like it's fun to play with something new, but sometimes you want to put a little bit of extra heart into that. You know what I mean? And that's the difficult thing about trying to keep up with the flow of some of the stuff that comes in, you know? If you've ever been in that, I don't know if you've ever been in my situation with as much stuff as I get from time to time, but it's a lot to handle sometimes when you're one person. Recently, we had a company send us a drone. It's sitting over there. It's called a Ruco 4K or something like that. It was a pretty cool little drone. But for whatever reason, it wouldn't hook up to the phone. And no matter what I did, it would not show the live feed through my I have an iPhone, and it just wouldn't work. And they kept emailing me back, did you make video, did you make video, did you make video? I'm like, no man, your drone is like broken. I've been doing this for 11 years and I've had very few of them just not work. And this is a nice drone. This is like a FPV competitor. FPV is kind of a offshoot of like, say, like a DJI Mini. They make some pretty nice ones. They actually started making some thermal ones. The FPV X8T. The X8 was super popular for larger Mavic size ones. It's like a Mavic alternative, like a DJI clone. I get to digging. You ordered the Cobra S1. Yeah, the X1C. I got lucky on that one because they sent it to me for review. I with our family and stuff, I have other things I have to spend money on besides like a 3D printer for my shop. Unfortunately, because I don't do enough 3D printing to really even warrant having a Bamboo Carbon X1. Honestly, I just got lucky because I put 11 years into this channel, and they were like, "Hey, you want to review our awesome ass printer?" And I had FOMO. I had FOMO when that came out. I did. I really want, because I reviewed a lot of 3D printers. A lot of the Creality ones. I love those like first because they were the most reliable out of all the China printers. There's a lot of really cheap shit China printers, so stay away from no-name fly-by-night 3D printer people. 5 years ago, there was a whole ton of those. We have less of them now, and they've kind of thinned out to companies that actually make decent quality 3D printers. But I haven't heard of that one that you're talking about. I don't think I've heard of that Cobra S1. I should look that up. Next said, Cobra is amazing, clean prints. Your Cobra. You have a Cobra. How much does a Cobra cost retail? What does that go for? Is that cheaper than the Bamboo Labs? I feel like Bamboo Labs is pretty pricey. But you pay for what you get. What's the price on that Cobra S1? Oh, it's made by Anycubic. Okay. That's cool. So that's one of the things, you know, I did a video last week about what to do, you know, if everything just fell down to the absolute trenches tomorrow, like we would probably be okay, because a lot of us have 3D printers. I've got a ton of motors and things like that. I could come up with quads to build and sell, and support at least a small percentage of people in the hobby. Not a big percentage, because I don't have warehouses of this shit like some of these companies. Um, but at least that I could do something, right? And we can always 3D print frames, and we can go back to analog. You know, God willing, like if I have to go back to analog, then I'll go back to analog. But uh, I don't really want to. Fixed wing, I don't mind it. I don't mind analog on fixed wing. When I go, if I went out to fly iNav plane right now, I would, yeah. I've got one right back here. I don't think I can. Not sure if I can get it out, but this is one of the most awesome FPV plane companies that ever produced FPV planes. And unfortunately, this company has also sort of stopped having a lot of new releases. This is a Zod plane. It has an AKK receiver transmitter on here. This is all analog. It has an AX2 from Lumineer, and it has a Foxeer camera up front. It's been sitting on the ground back here, so it's a little bit of hanger rash. Also, it has a GPS on top. And check this out. You guys might not remember this. Some of you new guys definitely don't. But this is a Zod flight controller in here. I don't know if you can see that. But Zod made some flight controllers that were basically plug and play. It didn't have any kind of... It had some settings you could tweak, but all you had to do was plug things in, plug in a receiver. S-Bus receivers work. I don't think it has ELRS support, unfortunately, because it's an older one. But you could plug in all of your stuff and have telemetry, and you could have GPS return to home on a plane without having to do a whole bunch of iNav stuff. And you would have 3 different flight modes. I think it was manual, horizon, and total stability mode. So that was pretty cool. This is a V-tail. And you also had a spot for a camera up front. It was big enough for like an HD cam up front. A little pusher motor in the back. This is a cool plane. One of the reasons why I kept this. So one day when I retire and I go off to my FPV Homestead, I will have things to play with. That's the goal anyway. He who has the most toys wins. Hey, appreciate that Happy RC flyer. Thanks for that comment. Yeah, we're doing enjoy that grass mowing there with the earbuds. I like to do these streams every once in a while just to update you guys and give you sort of an outlook on what I've heard from different manufacturers. Kind of give you a little bit of perspective on what's coming. Also to give you some good feelings that there still are new releases coming. Because it feels like right now, I know it feels like we're in a dead spot. It probably feels like FPV has like reached the end of the road. Mainly because you're just not, we were so spoiled with reviews and new things and all this awesome stuff coming out last couple years. And this is kind of how the entire industry is right now. The entire U.S. industry right now is up in the air. Um, my cousin has a salon on the East Coast, and half that salon is like women's clothing, and she's done really well for the last, I don't know, 6-7 years, maybe longer. And recently I was talking to my family back on the East Coast, and they were saying that she was having a problem ordering new clothes for the other side of the business, and a lot of those clothes come from China, right? So all of a sudden, her clothing prices were 145% inflated, and so while all these major corporations are getting bailouts and exemptions on tariffs, who's getting hit with all the tariffs? The consumer and the small business retailers, right? People like Get FPV and my cousin and us, like everyone that's like a small business. Meanwhile, Apple, Microsoft, Boeing just got a great deal today or yesterday. That was a nice deal. One of the, I think they said the largest deal in history or something. I don't know. Who knows if that's true? It was the largest FPV deal in history. So I got a phone call from a guy one time years ago. I think I had just closed down my brick and mortar drone camp store in North Carolina, and this guy calls me and he says, "Hey man, I want to create the country's, the U.S.'s largest drone store." And at the time, things were changing so fast, week to week to week. What came in this week, next week would not be good. And now we're at a point where, hell, you'll see the same ESCs being produced for 6 months to 12 months. Back then, you were seeing new types of ESCs coming out every other week, and there was piles of FPV garbage everywhere. And it was hard to tell what was quality and what wasn't. Right? You had like name brands like Lumineer, but then some people said, "Oh well, Lumineers like easily burn up, and they're expensive to replace." A $40 ESC, while other people said they're great and they work great. So it is hard to know what was good because there was such a surplus of stuff, and now it's like, yeah, there's like not even any ESCs in stock. So now you're just lucky to be able to get something in your cart and fix what you have, right? Uh, right now, I am doing repairs. If you go on the website and you scroll down to the bottom, you can see our drone repair. It's all the way at the very bottom. Drone Repair Service Center. And we'll do analog, we'll do HD, we'll do long range. We don't repair FPV goggles. I don't know why it says FPV goggles. We do, I guess because we do setup for OSD and FPV goggles, radio setups, switches, repairs, custom builds, things like that. If you click on that, it'll take you to the different service plans. 1 drone, 2 drones, and long range drones. But yeah, you send us your parts. Right now we've got a Maz 7 that a good friend of ours sent us, and we're repairing that. He broke 2 arms off of it, and since he did that, he's like, well, we might as well go ahead and update it to an 04. It's kind of the smart thing to do. While it's down, might as well go ahead and upgrade it. So we're going to pull the 03 off there, and we're going to put an 04 on it for him. Make sure it's working, and then ship it back to him. And that's worth it if you need somebody to help you fix something that's broke. There's nothing worse than having something sitting around that you paid for that's broken, that just you can't fly. That's no fun. Next, Zorvin said he started on a Skywalker X8. Wow. You started flying FPV on an X8? Did you fly RC airplanes before? Or is that your first plane? I don't know if you guys know how big a Skywalker X8 is, but like the internet won't even do it justice of how big that wing is. What is the wingspan on that? That is a huge, huge wing. So here's the thing too. If you're new to this channel, good for you, because we don't do just FPV drones. My channel's always been the channel that we do a little bit of everything. Like we do FPV wings, we do planes, I'll do RC cars. So the Skywalker wing is 2120 millimeters, 2021 millimeters. How many inches is that? Like 70 inch? 79 inches. Pretty good guess, Justin. Yeah. So that's a big wing. And this is what that wing looks like. Skywalker X8. I believe they came in white as well. The first ones I ever saw they were white. And I guess that was by Sonic Model. Man, I haven't seen a wing from Sonic Model in a long time. Sonic Model used to be basically the premier FPV wing maker. Look at that, discontinued, $200. Can't get that one anymore either. Ah, the days of the FPV past. But I always, my dad would always talk about the 60s and 70s, and I would always tell him, Dad, we're living in the future. We're living in the now. We can't be like talking about like 40 years ago. Things are not the same, and things are definitely not the same right now. That makes me feel like him. I'm the nostalgic one now. I'm talking about the olden days of FPV when we had piles and piles of FPV garbage everywhere. I miss the days of FPV garbage. Next says, yes, I did 25 years. That makes sense, man. That makes sense that you had an X8 as your first FPV plane. There was one that Horizon Hobby made. What was that one called? The Optera? That was a weird name. What does that even mean? The Optera. I think that one's around a 70 inch as well. Huge, huge plane. But it flew really well. That was a 2-meter wing. E-Flight Optera. That's pretty good that I could even remember that name. Let's see. And that wing is probably from, oh my God. How many years ago did that come out? That probably came out like 9 years ago. Look at that. There's an FPV setup. Check out that magnificent piece of FPV garbage. Now that little camera right there, I remember these. They would run on 1S. Yeah, it had a little, this was an original PH connector, not even PH 2.0 right there. That 1S battery has the original PH. And they stopped using these because the voltage wasn't good enough for 1S whoops, but it was good enough to power these little 5-volt cams. This is probably a 3-volt cam to be running on this 1S. But pretty hilarious. Horizon Hobby released this all-in-one FPV 25 milliwatt unit with a CCD camera on there. Very small, cutting-edge technology at the time. But compared to what Run Cam and Fox Ear were making, that was FPV garbage. For sure. That was back in the days of Simon K ESCs. Ready Made RC still has 2 Optera PMPs in stock. Let's go, people. We should buy that as a group and go fly it off a cliff somewhere. That reminds me, I was doing a review for Horizon Hobby. My memory still works. So it was the Manta. Do you guys remember the Manta? Some of you old school guys might remember was it E-Flight? So there's a picture of me somewhere, probably on the internet. No, it's not the E-Flight Manta. Who made that? Tossing this Manta FPV wing off of a cliff, and oh, there, it had this weird front end on it. There it is, airframe only. Let me show you this. This is a very strange FPV wing. So this is the Manta, and it came to me like this. I built it up, put a motor on there, ESCs, got it looking all nice with all the stickers and everything, put some FPV on there, and my maiden flight was tossing it off a cliff over the ocean. And I made it. That thing was dialed. It went straight down the beach, flew up and down the beach a few times. I was probably running something like 200 to 400 milliwatt. Maybe, I think 600 milliwatt was like the big, powerful VTX at the time. Flew up and down the beach, and then came back and was able to land back up on the top of the cliff where I was standing. But wow, yeah, that was a sketchy thing. But that was the Manta. I don't know if they have a full picture of what that looks like. But the Manta was cool. Looks like they have a car named a Manta. It doesn't even come up if you try to search for it. But yeah, Horizon Hobby just celebrating 40 years. And some of you guys that know Horizon, I had recently sent them an email this year and was trying to get back in with them because they are another American retailer. They're the largest RC retailer in the country. If you've never heard of Horizon Hobby, good thing you're watching the stream, because if you have any interest in any different type of RC, they've got it, except for FPV. So you have to go back to the other retailers for that. But Horizon's got you covered on like axial crawlers, RC cars and trucks. They even have these new NASCAR RC cars that came out. I really want one of those for some reason. I'm from the South, so I really feel like I should have an RC NASCAR. Man, that's cool. Look at the chassis. It's not a toy. This is hobby grade. That's what I would tell people when they came into my store. They would see Horizon Hobby prices for like a drone and, just like a little trainer drone. It was $100, but they could go on Amazon and buy a toy drone for the kid for $20, $30. And I'm like, it's not the same thing. I have to, here, watch it fly. And I would fly it. Yeah, that's great, guy. Have a good one. And then they'd go home and buy it off Amazon. Son of a bitches. And that's another thing that has killed the mom and pop shops. Like the RC shops have had a hard time dealing with Amazon and the surplus. I remember first, and see, this is I'm becoming my dad. I'm reminiscing, so I'm nostalgic. But Turnigy showed up at the fields, at the RC airfields, and I know somebody that's listening to this also probably was at their local field and heard the other guys say, "I ain't buying that China shit." People used to say that. People used to, before China really got a stronghold on the RC kind of hobby crowd here in the US, people were flying domestic batteries. Like there was a company called Thunder Power, and I think Thunder Power is still in business, but you would buy one battery and it would cost you $150. Now, fast forward to 2000, from say around 2004, everybody's buying those. 2005. Fast forward to like 2006, 7, 8. Turnigy came around with Hobby King. And all of a sudden, you could buy a 3S 2200 instead of for $50, $60 at your local RC shop. You could get it Turnigy from Hobby King for $10. That ripped a hole in the mom and pop shop's pockets overnight. Like, and so people were pissed about that. Like the guys who've been there for years and years, saying, you know, F that, we're not supporting Hobby King. And there was a huge blowback against Hobby King. People were boycotting them. And some people didn't give a damn. They would show up at the field with 30 Turnigys. And you'd be that guy. You'd be that one guy over in the corner flying your little foamy airplane. And the old school guys are over in the main pits going, that son of a bitch. That cheap ass bastard. Look at that cheap bastard over there. You guys know what I'm talking about, some of you guys. But now it doesn't matter. Like now we're so far up China's ass that none of us could even see the daylight. And that's why I have things like the baby chicks, because you have to have something simple like these guys to take your mind off of the shit in the world, you know. Like the backyard and the homesteading thing is really a great escape from all of the global news that we're just constantly bombarded with. These guys right here don't give a shit about global news. We're not meant to know all that stuff. We're kind of meant to, we're tribal in creation. We're kind of meant to know what's in front of us and a handful of people. Instead, we have all of this information coming from all over the globe into our brains all the time now. And that's kind of overwhelming for something not quite as dumb as a chick, but, you know, are we meant to hold all that information? It's like, we're not computers yet. But the state of FPV, this was our cover for today. What is happening? We talked about different prices on the website. So if you're trying to buy something right now, it's kind of difficult, because if you look right now, the first one we showed was the Cineflow, the 5-inch from iFlight, and then we went to look at the Defender 20. This was from 2024, 2023. I hate that pop down on Get FPV's website. It drives me crazy. It covers the whole page. Look at that. Every single time you go to the website, if your mouse is in the, they need to fix that. $634 for a 2-inch. Is that crazy? That's crazy. So $634, okay? Get FPV. RDQ has it for $647. So $634, $647, and Pyro Drone has it for $708. So everybody has different prices, and again, like I talked about, maybe these guys bought in different lots and they have to charge a little more or a little less, depending on what their base price was, right? And my guess is they're trying to make 30% on top of the price you see right here, because that's the standard for retail. Not for everybody. Smooth Cruiser, you still use your Hobby King graphene packs. You know what? Those graphene packs lasted. I still have I think a 4S 1300. They were black and red, those graphene packs. I still got one. It started to not give me the greatest performance, but I could still fly it. But eventually, I think I set it to the side and put it in the old bin. If you have old FPV batteries that you don't want to get rid of quite yet, it's a good idea to use one of these. Let me show you. If you're new to FPV, if you're getting into storing lipos at home, do yourself a favor. Go find yourself. Don't go to Cabela's and buy that plastic one. Don't you do it. Go to a military surplus store somewhere. A good one that has old school shit. Okay? Get yourself one of these. Drill a hole in it with a metal bit because you need to have some airflow and be able to something to escape. Should there be a fire in here, you don't want to create a bomb. So check it out, 5.56 ammo crate right here. 10 round clips. 840 cartridge. CRTG, what is that? Is that cartridge? What does that mean? Who knows what that means? 840 cartridge. So this will save you if you have an issue. So they also make ones about 4 times this size for like, I think they were let's say 16 millimeter or something like that. I have a huge one also for much bigger batteries that just stays on the floor, but you gotta drill a hole in it. And currently this one doesn't have anything in it. It's empty. So this one's not being used yet. But put all your batteries in there, and man, that stinks. It's cancerous, whatever that is in there. But outside a lipo bag, because this is not, let me stress this. This is not for the house. This does not protect your house. So these are for driving to the field. So these are like transport bags or like something you could take on the airplane. This is kind of like what TSA likes to see if you decide to fly somewhere. You want to make sure it's battery is under 100 watt-hour. It will say on the label if it is or not. I mean, even some of my large 6S 5000 packs are under 100 watt. And sometimes if they aren't, I'll peel you can peel the label off, and how the hell do they know? It's just after a certain, I think they also have a size limit. So you can't take like a 22,000 milliamp 6S on the plane, like a giant brick. But they will let you take like a 6S 5000 pack or like a 6S Lion pack on the airplane. But these, you have to know that these are for travel. They make all types of different sizes. They make ones that are like square bags. I like these larger ones. This is a TBS black sheep one from many years ago. I usually keep my 6S in there, and I try to label everything on the outside, what it is, 1, 2, 3S, whatever. And it's a good idea. Well, years ago, I left this one at a church full of almost every single 2 and 3S small battery that I owned was in this bag. There was probably 50 batteries in this bag. It's still kind of overflowing. It's just not even doing its job right now. I can't even close it. So I left it at the church, and if you write your phone number on it, sometimes people will call you and say, hey, I found your bag of batteries. I don't even know what they are, but this seems like you might want this back because this seems like a lot of money. And yeah, it is. It's a ton of money. And I got a call from the site manager. He was like, yeah, man, just come in whenever you want to pick it up. Just you know, just give me a call, and I'll give that back to you. And I got my bag back. That was like all my micro batteries. That would have been tough to lose. And there they are. They're still grouping up. Oh, the first night we brought them home, they had just met each other the first day, or the evening when we brought them home. It was like after the kids got out of school, we went over there and picked them out. The kids picked them out and brought them home in the little cardboard box. And they started, even that night, they started grouping up. And now they're a posse. And this one right here, the Cinnamon Queen, she's the largest. I think she's probably the oldest. I'm not sure how old she is. She might be like is she a week or two? What do you guys think? Anybody? We got any chicken experts in the room? Next says he got his 50mm can from Harbor Freight, $18. That's pretty good. But question, is it a metal one or is it a plastic one? Because if it's a plastic one, I wouldn't use it. He used to have chickens for scorpion hunting. What? Do chickens hunt scorpions? I'm not from the desert, so I know nothing about scorpion hunting, unless that's some kind of slang I'm not catching. You've seen a lot. Zoran the FPV said, I've seen a lot of chickens in my life. You know, some of you guys, man, you know, so here's a funny thing. Like, I used to come home from college, and my mom, we had 3 or 4 horses, and she had 3 or 4 chickens running around the yard, and they would run into the front driveway. And I was so embarrassed when I would come home from college and there'd be like chickens running around in my driveway. You know, I've got like my girlfriend, my college girlfriend, and I'm like, yeah, we have chickens running around in our driveway. I swear I'm not a redneck. Maybe I am. You might be a redneck if you fly FPV drones and you have chickens. That's all right. It's okay to be a redneck on this channel. Said that before. All rednecks are welcome. They're getting tired. It's nap time. You know, there's this smaller one here on the right, and she's looking like she needs to eat some more. She's kind of the runt of the pack. The last couple days, Mrs. Camps was kind of worried about her because she laid down a lot the first night we brought her home, and I thought, oh man, they gave us a bum chicken. I need to take this one back. But she started to move a lot more, kind of giving her a chance the last couple days to sort of gain some weight, she's a lot more active now than she was. But that's pretty tough, bringing one home that just doesn't do well the first day. That's not a good sign. William S says you can get them on sale here for $12 in North Carolina. You've never been called a redneck? Neck, your screen name is literally Neck. I don't think I've ever been called a redneck because I was always like the tech guy. It's hard to be a redneck when you're the tech guy. But there are some very, very smart rednecks out there. Yeah. Just because you're redneck doesn't mean you're not smart. 'Cause I've known some super smart hillbillies. They know how to make that shine. I don't know how to make that shine, so they're smarter than me. And one of the things, like, you know, people will say, like, they'll compare everybody's channels and they'll say, oh, Joshua Barwell is the king of this or whatever. And you know, if you want to call Joshua the king, that's fine. Like, but here's the thing. Some people, everybody has something different to bring to the table. So one content on one channel is going to be very in-depth in a certain direction, or all directions sometimes if they're really a Renaissance person. But that means that you have to cover all of RC, right? And some people only do one thing, but like the thing is, it's like everybody has, when you have a group of people, if you're trying to do a common thing, everybody has something different to bring to the table. So I never like to say that this one guy is the smartest guy in the room, because this guy over here might know something that could actually help that guy, right? So we're all helping each other all the time. So I hate to label anyone as the king of anything. But look at our queens right there. Little queens. It's nap time. So we have the furnace going in here, and they really like the white noise. I think it puts them to sleep. Sometimes I'll turn on like classical music or jazz. I feel like that makes them smarter. Or maybe I should turn on some Alabama. Or some not Zach Brown band. Neck was a football player with no neck. I used to hang out with pretty much, I was pretty all around in high school, like hung out with all the different groups. I was like the president of the art club, whatever, but I also went to the frat parties and hung out with the football crew, or I hung out with the art school kids, or I hung out with some folks going to shows or concerts or whatever. So whatever. Just a little bit. I didn't stay home and read books. That's for sure. Should have, but it's too much fun out there to sit around reading books. And this morning when I woke up, I looked at them, and all of them are growing this little, they have little tails now. Little tail feathers are poking out. So cute. It's crazy. They change every day. The first day we brought them home, I tried to remember to take pictures because they change so much. If you don't take a picture of them, then a day later they look different. It's pretty crazy. It makes your hand, Nick says, it makes my hands twitchy when I fly. That's why I'm transitioning to Mission Planner to fly my planes and drones. You know, Nick, just like RC, you can also add some Expo into your sticks to kind of calm some of that down. So if you need some help, if your hands shake, put more Expo into your sticks and your radio and try to smooth some of that out. And that might help you. You can do the same with throttle. Sawyer Brown Band says Dennis Smith. I haven't listened to them. So my neighbor next to us is from Alabama, and he's a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, obviously. Um, but sometimes when I'm doing work in the backyard, if I'm working on the garden or the chicken coop, building something new, we have built 2 garden boxes back there. He was telling me the other day, I'm like Tim the Tool Man. Like, I'll grab the ladder, but before I climb the fence, I'll say, hey, Mr. Joe, how you doing over there? And I'll strike up a conversation. I'll say, hey man, you mind if I come talk to you for a sec? And he'll say, yeah man, come on over. And I'll put the ladder up, and I'll sit there on the fence line, and I'll just talk to Mr. Joe. He's probably like in his late 70s, and he has this amazing house. It's like a $2 million house. And inside it sat for like 2 years and no one will buy it because it literally looks like if Jimmy Buffett built a house like that old school dark wood, kind of just old South, almost like Key West style, almost Cabela's in a way, like almost like outdoorsy looking as well, kind of rustic stone and stuff in there. And no one in this area wanted it, but when he came there, he was like all about it. And I get what, it's almost like that Tommy Bahama look, you know what I mean? And I liked it because I like that style, but no one else liked it except for probably me and Mr. Joe. But I get up on the fence to talk to him every once in a while. And he was telling me that, he said, hey man, he said, I don't know where you get your music from, but sometimes I'll play music in the backyard. And sometimes I'll play Buffett, and he's like, man, I really like your playlist. Whatever it is you got going back there, I like it a lot because I play a little bit of everything back there. I started playing some Upchurch back in the backyard last week when I was back there, and Upchurch also does some hip hop, and it went into some hardcore hip hop. So I had to turn that off because I was afraid Mr. Joe might hear some foul language and some hip hop. I mean, you don't want to offend, you don't want to offend an old guy next door, but he said he liked our music. I'm gonna have to play some Sawyer Brown Band. So one of my go-tos is like Whiskey Myers. I like Whiskey Myers a lot. The Ballad of a Southern Man. That's a good track. Something you don't understand. Look up Whiskey Myers. Whiskey Myers, Ballad of a Southern Man. So we took a poll a while back, try to figure out like what parts of the country people tuning in from, and we actually have probably the most viewership from the Northeast. I did live up in New Jersey and New York for a while. New York was kind of crazy. I guess nobody really lives in New York forever, unless you're from there. It's just kind of like what you know. Everywhere else seems crazy. I had a friend in Brooklyn that, like, I lived in Georgia for 10 years. And when I first moved up there, he was telling me, man, I ain't going to Georgia, man. It's crazy down there. He was a black guy. And he was saying, I ain't going down to Georgia. I'm getting hung. I'm like, man, you're not going to get hung if you go to Georgia. Savannah is really nice. No one's going to, no, that was 100 years ago. But they have different conceptions about the South and the North, which is kind of, if you've never really spent any time somewhere, we have misconceptions of what New York City is like or what Brooklyn was like. I lived in Brooklyn, and I had no idea what Brooklyn was like until I lived there. And once I lived there, I realized that, hey, I like Brooklyn more than I like Manhattan, because when I get back to Brooklyn, it feels like home. It's chill. The people are down to earth. It's not like people in the city. They call Manhattan the city in Brooklyn, and it's like you don't really know who you're talking to in Manhattan, right? You don't. It was kind of a weird thing. But you get back to Brooklyn and it feels good. It feels like culture in Brooklyn. I've got some craziness going on over in the the penitentiary. We got somebody. I'm gonna have to call in the guards. She's standing on top of the food. I only see 3 of them, so there's the other one. They've been climbing on top of the phone mount, standing on the phone. I think she's about to do it. She's looking in the camera. She's thinking about going up there. So it's one of these big like Home Depot crates, and very soon already I'm gonna have to cover it because they're really starting to do a lot of hopping around, doing a lot of jumping. Smooth Cruiser, you listen to Kill Switch Engage most of the time. That's cool. I do like when I'm driving, I like to listen to like a lot harder stuff. Just kind of like actually calms me down in traffic if I listen to like harder rock or country. And sometimes if I really need to chill out, I'll actually, don't hold this against me, but I'll put on like Grateful Dead. Like Grateful Dead is some of the most relaxing, calm, slow tempo music you can find. I mean, Grateful Dead has some good stuff. There's a lot of Grateful Dead fans in the Northeast. So if you guys are tuning in from the Northeast, you're probably a Grateful Dead fan. I ain't hating on the Dead. And one of the other guys that I tune into sometimes, I don't know if you were on the live stream, is Jam Wayne. He's I think he's from Bama. Yeah, he's from Alabama. Jam Wayne's got some pretty good tracks. Some of them are okay. It's not like all of his stuff's good, but so FPV prices don't seem to be coming down. That's one of the things that's getting on my nerves a little bit. I am constantly checking all of the retailers for you guys and bouncing back and forth between all the different retailers, and everyone has different prices again. And again, that may be just that they bought different lots and they have to charge, like they got charged a little more for the wholesale price. So that may be the reason. But prices aren't really. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is why everybody's annoyed though, because I mean the tariffs went back to 30%, right? We know that they didn't buy a Defender 20 for a different price, right? So some people got annoyed that they already had stock in the warehouse and that a lot of the prices were doubled. And then once the 30% tariff hit, it doesn't seem like there's been a whole lot of rollback. I mean, if it was 145% tariff and now it's down to 30, we should be, do the math on that, right? We should be seeing a difference. We should be seeing 115% reduction in these prices. I'm not seeing it. So I don't see that as a 130% reduction in the price of a Defender 25 that is pre-existing stock. Now, if we look at Pyro Drone, just yesterday they came out with a new update, and now they're calling it the Tariff Update Board. I mean, this is how many times they've had to do community updates. It's kind of crazy. The first part of it was talking about the 145% tariff down to 30%. Now, while this is a welcome development, still far from the conditions that we once operated under where no such tariff existed, right? But I believe there was some tariff that was even from the last Trump administration. I believe it was like 30% 5 years ago, around 2020. Throughout the past several months, Pyro Drone has worked hard to shield our customers. They did kind of absorb some of the expenses, but with the new tariff in effect, we're beginning to roll back prices along many of our products. Starting immediately, you'll see store-wide reductions approximately 10 to 15% on impacted items. These adjustments reflect our commitment to fairness and transparency as we respond to the easing of import costs. However, it's important to emphasize that this does not signal a full return to pre-tariff pricing. 30% tariff still represents significant new costs to our operations. It didn't exist before these trade barriers were introduced. Additionally, a portion of our current inventory was brought in under the former 145% rate. Ugh. So what the hell is Pyro Drone supposed to do? See, that's the problem. What did I tell you guys when all this shit first started going down? I said, hold, don't buy anything. Do not buy anything. And if I had a retail business, if I was in retail right now, I would not have made any fucking orders until something was done. Like, hold. Don't order anything. Yeah. This is what I told everyone. Hold. Do not buy. Because some of you guys bought stuff and now, I mean, who here bought something during the 145% tariff? Did you guys buy anything during that craziness? Yeah, Raptor Claw said that's on them for ordering during the 145%. I mean, it is. Did I think that was going to hold? No, because and let me tell you guys something. Mrs. Camps, she calls it like it is. A couple days ago, when the 30% was announced, the 90-day hold, you know, I look at her and I'm like, what the hell? And she just looked at me and she goes like this. And I was like, you're right. We're being played a little bit. Somebody's being played. So if you made some money on the stock market, good for you, because everyone, if you had any brains at all, you saw this coming. Like when Tesla hit the bottom, I told everybody, I said, buy the shit out of it. If you've got some, buy it. It will come back. I think it was not advice. This is not financial advice. I can't give out financial advice, but it's coming back. Everything is coming back slowly. But people that know the stock market made shit tons of money during those highs and lows. And that was the most epic the most epic highs and lows that we've ever seen, you know, in the history of the stock market. Like, it was crazy. Zorban FPV says, what tiny whoops would you recommend as the best right now? I'm not allowed to currently say tiny whoop, apparently, because I have got word that our very awesome guy who runs Tiny Whoop, Jesse Perkins, doesn't like us to say Tiny Whoops. We have to call him Whoops, because that's his name brand, is Tiny Whoop. So one of the, okay, so my best, let's see, my best, I think my choice for Tiny Whoop right now might be the Beta FPV Air 6.5. Probably the Air 6.5, and something from Newbie Drone would be like, I think one of my favorite Newbie drone is the Hummingbird V4, just because it's like an all-around one. But there are some new releases also coming from a Whoop manufacturer. I can't tell you which one. So if you're looking for something super fast, like, wait around for just a little bit longer. There's going to be a really fast one coming out if you want really fast. If you want all around, just go for the Hummingbird V4. That's what I would do. Yeah, and a lot of us don't have cash flow to be dumping into the stock market, especially when, like, so here's my thing about the stock market. It's a little bit weird because I feel like if I had an extra $1,000 laying around, and I did my best to invest it in what I thought was the safest, smartest investment. And see, a safe investment doesn't make you any money because it just sits there and you make $2 maybe in a year. And then if you drop it into something that's volatile, you're like, oh wow, it's going to be the biggest, best company. They're going to make FPV batteries that fly a drone for 100 hours, and this is going to change everything. And then you drop 1,000, you know, case in point, like Unusual Machines or Red Cat. You put all this money in there, and then it drops by 80%. Now, Red Cat didn't drop by 80%. Unusual Machines didn't drop by 80%, but it hasn't gone like as big as we thought it would, right? And I know some people that put a lot of money into both those companies, but you know, the ROI on that is not like significant. And that's the thing. It's like, someone told me that when you're buying stuff on the stock market, you don't buy, you know, obviously you don't buy when it's at retail price. You want to buy when it's on sale. And that's why this huge market change that we saw in the last like couple months was so so profitable for people that know what they're doing. And it's a very complex environment. Like, drones, you think drones are complex? These things are nothing compared to the stock market. Very complex, very complicated, and they will steal your money. They're just waiting. They, you know, some of these companies can see when you make an order. They're tracking when you dump some money into a stock. They can see that, and then when you dump your money in, they can sell, and it is turn a profit on your ass. And then yours goes like this. After they just saw what you did with their bots and their crawlers and all this crap. It's nuts. It's legal gambling. The stock market is legal gambling. Now, you know, if you had 50 grand and you put it in there in 2001, yeah. You know, 20 years later, you're bound to have made a profit. And those are the people that'll be like, oh, well, you know, you should have put your money in there 20 years ago, and you should have done this and you should have done that. And that's the person that will tell you that you should have done this and should have done that when they did it and you didn't. So you should have, would have, could have. But you didn't have 50 grand 20 years ago to put into a stock. Should have borrowed it from them. Smooth Cruiser says his favorite company is Gep RC. You know, we have a new Gep release coming up. Not going to tell you what it is though. But we're still seeing new releases. The prices, I wish we had a level price across the board. I mean, I feel like your two main companies that you can buy from that are pretty close in price are Get FPV and Race Day Quads, right? That price is not that much different than RDQ's price. RDQ's a little more, but Get FPV, you know, is still in the first one we looked at was the Cineflow. Their Cineflow with the ELRS on RDQ is $751 with ELRS. There goes that drop down again. I hate that drop down. Andy, please fix that. All right, so it covers up the entire page. Look at that. That is all right. So 813 versus 751. That's a significant difference for the same quad. So on the older one, they had a better price on Get FPV, but on the newer one, their price is more. So did RDQ buy more Cineflow 5s than Get FPV, and they're able to make it $50 cheaper? $60 cheaper? I don't know. But that's a pretty big difference. So that's kind of what you guys are dealing with right now. That kind of sucks. Slobrat says AliExpress is back down to normal-ish prices. So, okay, let's go to AliExpress, like while we're doing this. Now, it's probably going to give me some kind of stupid first-time buyers deal or something like that because I don't buy stuff from AliExpress. So I'm going to type in Cineflow. There's the Cineflow from iFlight. Let's look for the ELRS version with 04. ELRS version. Now, this is interesting. Okay, you guys will find this interesting. My findings on AliExpress for the same drone is $625 with the ELRS receiver. Okay, $751 on RDQ, $813 on Get FPV. Now, here's the thing. $625 times 30% tariff, or let's see, $625 times 30% is $187. Ouch. So $625 plus $187 is $812. So, and I don't know if you'll get free shipping on this order. If you got free shipping, that would, you know, still gonna be about the same damn price as if you got it from Get FPV. So why would you order from AliExpress at this point with the import? Be the same price. And that's probably why, you know, this is tallied up the way it is from Get FPV. Because Get FPV's done the math on what it would cost from China. Okay. And this is interesting too. Look at this. 50% off. So it used to be $1,250. $1,250 for a 5-inch. No way. Hell to the HELL. No. Hell to the hell no. Hell no. Import charges included? Wait a minute. Back it up, truck. Back it up, truck. All right. Let me go back to that page. Oh, read the fine print, people. Son of a... Import charges included. Okay, okay. All right. AliExpress seems to be absorbing the import cost. So, if we can get this for $6.25 from AliExpress, you know, I am an AliExpress affiliate, even though I never really use the links. I should use the links. That's good. $6.25 from AliExpress. Now, somebody calculate the shipping to the United States and tell us what that is in the chat if you can. What's the shipping on that? So, would that get us up to the anywhere near Get FPV's price of $813? Because I'm assuming that Get FPV charges you shipping as well. So that would be maybe another $20, $25 on top of the $813. So that might put you in at $838 or so after shipping, and $751 from RDQ. Sheesh. This is still a lot for a 5-inch. But that's a better price for sure with tariff included, import charges included. Now, I wonder if that's... Well, I do have the United States selected there. Just double checking. But I do see the U.S. flag there, so they do know that I'm shopping from the U.S. So you have to be strategic about this. If you're going to make an order, read the fine print. Slob Rat said, back that ass up. You know, yeah, shopping, man. Shopping recently feels this totally like it's like you're trying to buy a watch on the street. Like, I feel like I'm being hustled wherever I go to spend money. Like, I was always the person who researches something before I buy it, and now I'm taking weeks to figure out like a single purchase because I one price is different from the other, and it's like you got hustlers. It's like the street hustlers have come to the internet. Like, they're raw dogging the retail market. This is about as raw dog as it gets. It's insane. CRK asked which would be the most affordable 5-inch for amateurs on a budget. Maybe an Ishin Wizard, bro. Let's see if you can still get an Ishin Wizard. A wizard. Nope. Well, not maybe on Banggood. AliExpress doesn't seem to have it. And nope. Wow, I have an Ishin Wizard for you. If you want it, I'll put it in the store. It still works. it would not be a lot of money. But then again, there might be tariffs tomorrow, so I might have to charge you like 5 times the amount it's actually worth. It's probably worth, in the olden days before the tariffs, it would have been $100 quad, and now it's a $400 quad. So, you know, you guys that have FPV drones, instead of having 12 FPV drones, you can now have 2 drones, and they may cost you a little more. Instead of having 3 cars, now you're going to have none. And that's why we have baby chicks. So, yeah, it's been pretty crazy the last couple months, and like the last week or so, like I think sometime like last week, the week before, I just kind of stopped watching the news. And you know, your mental health gets to a certain point where you're like, Jesus, I can't handle this shit anymore. It's like I gotta go in the backyard and do some chicken coop and listen to some Marshall Tucker band and just get dirt on my hands. You know, fuck the shit. But if you stop listening to in on all that stuff, it's kind of hard. It's almost impossible to escape the constant news feed, data stream into your main line, into your brain. And that's why like YouTube seems to be somewhat of an escape from the news, but you're always retargeted with all that shit that you watched before, right? So it's almost impossible to escape it. But live TV, like just go turn on like an old school show or something, like just something chill and sort of get away from all that noise, or get some shit done in the yard. This is a great time to go and get the baby chicks too. It's a perfect time. But yeah, what's your feelings on a little bit more content over in the backyard and some updates on kind of what we're doing here on the farm and the baby chick progress, some of the stuff that I'm doing with the coop in the back as well. I'm always doing little jobs out there and working on things and change. We're working on our garden boxes. We're getting some starters in there now, and just kind of a nice little break from all the madness. Wait, look how cute they are. It's these little life forms. They don't know anything about how complicated the world is. All they know is what's right in front of them. That's a really sweet thing. And I was telling Mrs. Kemps the other day, it's kind of a personal thing, but you know, I told her, I said, I think one of the number one things you can do in life, like, and this is from kind of a Christian standpoint, and maybe from just a universe standpoint, if you want to put it that way, a universal good is like when you can take care of something less than you in your life. And if you can do that, like if you could just take care of something less than you, right? And do that honestly, take care of something less than you, I think that's kind of like one of the main things in life that people should do. It's really good for you. It's good for them. It's like the reason why when you do some charity work, you feel so good after you did it, or if you give somebody something, like I've given people and kids a pair of FPV goggles or a drone or something like that. Giving back to people feels good. So, and giving back to things that are less than you as well, like taking care of something less than you, whether it's like children or baby chicks or even a fish tank. If you just wanted to have a fish tank and take care of a fish, that's a good deed for the world. But I think that we're in a better place now. And I say that because there are no guarantees on any of this shit. But I think that we're in a better place now than we were a week ago. Because a week ago, shit was super crazy and prices were through the roof everywhere. Prices have come down a little bit, but prices are not really, they're not, like I said, they're not 15% down. They're definitely not down as much as they should be. We haven't seen that much of a reduction in prices, and I feel like that's kind of not fair. So I hope that something can get worked out between the retailers and you guys so that you guys can get some type of relief and still be able to enjoy the hobby. Dennis Smith said, did I make a video of the XL10? Yes, I did. I believe it was the no, the one on the wall behind me is not the XL10. That's a 15-inch. But I did do it's a Gep RC XL10. Yeah, look that up on YouTube. That's on there. I will, they sent me this for a review and then they pulled it off the website. HGLRC made this, and unfortunately, it's disappeared. It's gone. I don't know where it went. They didn't put it back on the website. Thanks for the super like. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think this was like the XL15 or something, like there was something along those lines. Anyway, I was looking forward to reviewing it. And I had to take this thing apart and make sure that it was going to work right, because the manufacturer, when they put it together, they didn't screw down the flight controller. So in my mind, I'm like, are they trying to kill me? Because this thing is freaking got like a 35-inch wingspan, and it's 6S, and the flight controller is not screwed down. You know what that would have done if I had it taken off with that flight controller not screwed down? Not good. So whenever you get something in the mail, my number one advice for you guys, especially new guys, get your driver. And I don't care, if it's a bind and fly, if it's brand new, if it's something you have to add your VTX to, go over the entire thing. Go over all these bolts on the bottom, every single bolt, especially the motor bolts, and tighten, give it a half turn, quarter turn, or whatever, and make sure that everything is tight. Because some of these bolts on here will be loose, guarantee, from the factory. Especially the small stuff. I don't know how many micros I've had. Thought everything was perfect. The motor flew off. And then I'm missing the screws. And these screws are tiny. Once they come off in the yard, they're gone. So go over your entire quad before you fly it. First time for your maiden. Fly it line of sight first, fly it FPV second. Line of sight, super important, because this thing could fly up and hit you in the face because you put a prop on wrong. They don't come with the props on from the factory, so it's up to you to make sure your props are on right. But it is finally lunchtime here, and I feel like we had a really good talk today about the state of FPV, everything going on right now. I'm hoping that we see more price reduction, because I feel like that you guys deserve that. However, like we saw on Pyro Drone's website, they bought in during the 145% tariff. So that, like, it's not Pyro Drone's, it's not Surge's fault that he has to charge the prices that are on his website right now. If they're not consistent with RDQ and Get FPV, that's because he's having to CYA. He's having to cover his own ass on what he bought as a business. And unfortunately, in the game of the current modern game of tariffs and FPV and retail in general, there's really no escaping that. And it's my hope that Pyrodrone and RDQ and Get FPV can survive a lot of what this shitstorm that has happened to their businesses in the last like 2 or 3 weeks. And it's just not just these companies, it's everybody, including my cousin who has a little salon. So it's my hope that we can all get back to like business as normal, and yeah, and that the economy can keep growing. And I'm sure it will, because that's what we have to do. That's our job, is to keep moving forward. And that's what we're going to do. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and the chicks today. The chicks are growing day by day. I'll try to give you some, maybe I'll put some snapshots up on the community feed on the YouTube channel. If you're looking for a deal, hop on our website, dronecamps.com. I'll have some stuff posted on there. It's always a better price on our website because I flew it. I flew it first. That's the only difference between this and something brand new, is that, you know, it looks like this. It has been flown, but it's not destroyed. And that's how you would get it in the box. I won't send you something that doesn't fly. If it doesn't fly, then I'll make it up with you. But if you wrecked it and then you told me it doesn't fly, that's when I have to investigate. However, good deals and free shipping for now. Free shipping. It's not what it used to be. I used to be able to ship 2-day free shipping, and now everything is like ground, because 2-day shipping is now $45 versus $7. That's the difference between 2-day shipping and ground. So no one can afford free 2-day shipping anymore, except for Amazon. What's the world coming to? Guys, hang in there. It'll get better. Get some baby chicks, and find some peace out there. Find some peace in your life. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's like a big hangout. It's a great group of guys that we have on the channel right now, and I love you guys, and I love this hobby. But I appreciate you. Please do give us a thumbs up on this video, and join me for the next broadcast. Who knows when it will be, but if I see some really interesting things happen, I'm going to keep you updated. So I appreciate you subscribing on the channel, and being there for us during this crazy time, because we'll be there for you. But I appreciate you.